Well, hello everyone, it's Shooter. We're going to go over swing trade notes. And at the end of our presentation, please do review our disclosures. Let's jump right into this. Now let's start off with the dollar. We had, I would say, a significant short squeeze today. Now, I don't think it originated with the dollar, but I'm sure it contributed to it because we were projected to go up to about 103 and 103 and a half, I believe it was. And we got 102.83. And then, in aftermarket hours, it started lower and continued in today. So I think our next target on data is at 98. We've put in our two, so intermediate wave 1, intermediate wave 2, and intermediate wave 3's down here. So how quick we come off there really, I think, depends whether this rally continues. And with that, let me transition into TLT. Now, even TLT got a little bit of a bid today. However, it did not change the trajectory. And right now, I'm looking for at least 50% back, 93.65 to that 89.35. And it could extend down to support. So I think unless the Fed gives us a clear defined pivot at the FOMC meeting, I think this is our path. So that's my thought. Now, I wanted to, continue with Tesla here because I want to back test to this 239.50 where we spent so much time last week. We just kept bouncing off that sucker. Bounce, 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 bounce. And we got out of it. And then we rejected it at resistance. Dead at that 264.80. And it just, so we're in this range. We're in this wrath here. This little band right here. Yeah, this right here. So this really was our test and it didn't hold. So it was an overshoot. But it's drive, to me, I'm looking at it as drive 1 because it's the only one that came down there. This is still in this leg here. So this was our next leg down. This is our back test. So if that ends up being our high, our next low will come in down here and I want to make sure I'm not there. is the thought. So it's kind of a mess, but I still like it to the upside. I like this shot at, first quarter to 291 because we get up and out of this. It's just going to keep going. In today's rally, was weak for Tesla compared to the indices. So that's a little telling. So we want to sort of see where it plays out. But at that 239.50, we'll give it another shot long and hopefully it works out. Now, something else that I liked here, we had Twilio on there, but I closed those today. Didn't stay in them very long. Ultimately, because the count switched, it looked like we were going to come off and, take off 20% from where we were. So I took the profit. That was it. So with 5.9, I want the 69.08, and I'm getting very stingy on my entries because I'm noticing if I take it outside of my entry, in other words, I let it squiggle at all before I put on my first piece, it's not working. So, I'm back to where I was in the directional environment in the markets. So right now I'm not sold that we're going to continue the upside. It actually looks to me like sheer seller exhaustion. The dealers are driving the rallies to get their big players out. That's what it looks like to me. It's ironic. I saw that in Bitcoin today too. If you look at the Binance exchange, I don't go more into that in a minute, but still on my mind. They sold 45,000 Bitcoins last, 45 grand. That's how many new Bitcoins came onto their exchange to be sold. So someone is selling into this rally. Okay, let me jump and do my S&P review so I can go back to crypto and spend a minute there. All right, so this is our range. Well, I can tell you what, I think it's, what was the number? I didn't put it on there. So it is like 458.59. I can't see it with this chart. We close below this candle. Look out, we're going back to the 200-day. That's simple. That's exactly what this just told us. This just told us our range for January, and we should be in this range. If we get above this candle, it's a breakout. We break below this candle, it's a breakdown. It's exactly what it's just told us. So I'm still looking for that 485.54. Looking at the NASDAQ, same range. But yeah, it's so disappointing that we're closing down here this far on that candle. It's just, it's giving it all back. So that looks to me like an exit rally as well. So that's where my thought is there. We still have that 434.45 as our next target, but we could be here forever now, unless we break down. It took all of the FOMO out of that as far as I'm concerned. All right, so what had changed? I drafted swing trade notes this weekend, published it, and then I never did a video. I was going to do it Monday morning, but when I looked at everything, I was like, man, there's no reason for me to do a video here. It's like, there's no reason. So I revamped it after the close, and now I'm doing it. So 6.8% Bitcoin in chat. We popped it out, right just below 45, where I thought this thing was going to keep going, and we ran another 2 grand, right there on that push. Just absolutely a fantastic rally. And if you're riding it, let's see if we can get a little bit of an idea where we are. So now, pointed this out. We have a November 21 resistance at 56,980. And then we have a support number down here, 32,100. Okay. We're in no man's land in rally form now. So, okay. So what an impulse leg would look like here to the upside. I want everybody just to see what it would look like. So, could get up to 60,000 here. Now, I think the one of 2 events happen. Either this becomes an impulse leg and we get above that 52. Right? Or we follow the map. So that's sort of the look that I see here. I'm going to switch back to swing trade notes now and just finish out where the counts are. So I think we come down to that 45459, maybe in after hours trading today. If it doesn't flush, we're going to keep building. You realize if it doesn't come down, you get 50% back, you can add 50% to the top as far as where our numbers are. So our number's 48. Whatever that 50% it doesn't give us, add it to that number, right in the morning, as far as our minor wave 5 up there, right? Or minor wave 3, excuse me, I've got them wrong. No, that is a minor wave 5. I got so many small labels here. So wherever we find our top, and that's the challenging part here, is we're going to have some euphoria, but your risk is, and I'm going to go to GBTC here, with your risk, because your risk is that they do not approve an ETF and we're 50% back. We're down here at 30 bucks. That's your risk. Now, you've got a similar risk with Bitcoin, but not as much as the ETFs. Okay. We might only come back and give this candle and back test to 161.8, and that'll be it. So there'll be less heat in Bitcoin versus the ETFs, right? So let me just look at the larger picture of GBTC, because we got a slew of questions. Is it too late? Is it too late? Well, kind of, all right? My next entry long is at 3106 or 3196. So we get this full push up to 42, then we flush. That's your next entry for wave 5. All right, looking at Ethereum, we're just building this case towards that 2777. Looks like we're on pace. I don't see any reason that changes. 2683, slender back test. Got a nice back test here, so if we don't get back above that, then we could have a little trouble first. But right now, it doesn't look like. Now, note that I still have second entry and third entry. We get a flush, and the primary wave gets taken out. That's what those are there for. They're to tell you, hey, if we take that setup out, we're going back and testing this, and you want to scale. That's the thought. All right, so looking at Bitfarms. Well, we got our next entry, but we're only going to go to about 381. So it's still about a 40% gain to the upside. Then it's going to flush back to 257. So I've got our next entry long at 257 for anybody who doesn't have a position on that. By the way, it's not too late. It's just you got to really track the legs on where you enter. So go and put some good to cancel orders in at 255 or 258 or $3. Let's just do it at $3. And then if they don't get filled and they cancel out, roll it over and do it again for another 90 days. Okay. Now, I like coin. It's shallow on this back test. Still could give it to us. We're up around 160, but I like it at that 139.78 because it has good measurements in the impulse leg. This will probably extend a little bit, but we should get all the way up to about 277. Now, it is a counter trend trade. Let me be clear on this. Coin is a counter trend trade. So that means when we get up around that 277, you don't want to be holding it. You want to sell it, all right? Because it's going to back test and it probably is going to test the low. One of the reasons I don't have Marathon up on in my crypto stuff. But I went more into depth today, folks, just to try and help you out. Of course, great trading. Until next time. And please like and share this video. And please join us, our YouTube channel. It doesn't pay the bills, but it sure helps cover some of the costs for this. But have a great day until next time.